The first attack came on the first day of the invasion, February 24th, 2022, a satellite service cyber attack, with system operators losing remote control of nearly 6,000 wind turbines in Germany. Tens of thousands of modems went dark, according to satellite company Viasat, affecting people not only in Ukraine, but also France, Italy, and other countries.
It'll go through it and wipe all of them.
Researcher Juan Andres Guerrero Saad says attackers used a malware labeled Acid Rain that completely wipes a device and makes it useless.
It just basically runs through the entirety of the software, deleting everything that it can.
He believes Russian military hackers planned to cut off comms for the Ukrainian military, stopping them from controlling drones and talking to troops in the field.
It's sort of a clever military tactic to say, hey, this communication channel that you were going to rely on, well, overnight it's just gone.
Do you think they intended to hit European targets as well, or do you think that was a mistake?
No, I think that was a mistake. Somebody didn't quite calculate the effects of what they were doing, and you have this kind of fallout and spillover out of the Ukrainian conflict.
He says acid rain can be used on many devices, not just modems, and not just in Ukraine. The next big attack came on April 8th at one of the biggest energy companies in Ukraine. The country's security forces said Russia tried to shut off power in an unnamed city using cyber means.
If they had been successful and if they had inflicted critical damage, that would have meant 2 million people without electricity supply when we talk about civilians, let alone commercial and other enterprises.
The attackers, Russian military hackers known as Sandworm, used a new malware called Indestroyer 2, a slimmed-down version of the original malware, Indestroyer, that Russia used to shut off power in parts of Ukraine in 2016.
When we discover something that's as targeted as this, it's definitely reason to be alert.
The attackers likely got inside the company around the first day of the war, then launched Indestroyer 2 about 6 weeks later, sending their own malicious commands to disconnect electrical substations. They followed up with a wiper on the system.
So it's a destructive piece of malware that, as the name suggests, wipes critical components in your computer. The end effect is that that machine is rendered offline, unusable, to cause disruption, make the lives of the people, the operators more difficult, to amplify the effect of the blackout, the attempted blackout.
Sergei Galagan is head of IT for Ukrenergo, another energy company in Ukraine, not involved in this attack. He says all power companies are fighting to keep electricity flowing under the barrage of Russian attacks, both physical and digital.
Sometimes we don't sleep. Sometimes we are looking for solutions. Sometimes we rearrange or rebuild some systems in very fast manner.
Russia pummeled the Ukrainian region of Kryvyi Rih in the spring and summer of 2022. In the crosshairs, the Kryvyi thermal power plant, according to plant operator DTEK. On June 28th, Russia dropped missiles on the plant and attacked from the inside with a hack, DTEK said in a statement. Quote, the attacker's goal was to destabilize the technological processes at power generating and distribution companies and undermine Ukraine's energy security. Also, to leave Ukrainian consumers without power. The cyber attackers, a group known as Hacknet, posted on Telegram saying, DTEK companies, we are attaching access screens. You will understand everything from the logs, along with images supposedly from the company's systems. DTEK did not explain what kind of attack the hackers carried out, though they said it was similar to the 2016 cyber attack on parts of the Ukrainian power system. Hacknet, for its part, said, we did not interfere with the operation of power plants. We have not paralyzed your work, but hinted at future trouble. Russian cyber attackers did interfere with power plant operations on October 10th of that year, from both outside and in, according to researchers. Missiles from above and military hackers, again Sandworm, working their way through systems at a plant in an unnamed city with the goal of shutting down power.
more than just bombs. They're trying to cause disruption in the cyber world as well, perhaps with the intent of demoralizing and try to discourage the morale that Ukraine has.
Security company Mandiant says upon analysis, they found evidence of the attackers in the system starting in June. They got into software that sends crucial commands to substations to keep the power going. They pretended to be an ISO file, a copy of a disk like a CD-ROM. The power systems allowed CD-ROMs to send important commands without a password. And so the attackers disguised themselves as CD-ROMs with the ISO file and began to send malicious commands with no authentication needed. A new technique, not like the industrial malware used in past attacks, and it was successful. The power was out for about 90 minutes to 2 hours before crews were able to restore it.
That's the good news. The bad news is you still have the rockets and bombs that really impacted the substation equipment that could not be restored right away.
2 days later, on October 12th, the attackers launched a destructive wiper at the utility.
It's like they actually try to deploy it at the same time as on as many systems as possible.
Jani and Bhutan's team at ESET analyzed the wiper, one of many Russia has used on Ukraine during the war.
It's probably the most intense usage of wipers that we've seen ever in cyber.
The goal, not just lost data and damaged systems, but also psychological impact.
Sandworm is notorious for attacking or attempting to attack U.S. infrastructure. All of us in the world need to keep watch of what they're doing, expect them to come back.
In 2023, Ukraine's industrial cyber attack landscape shifted from Russian attacks to shut off power and wipe systems toward recon and espionage, often by way of fake email attacks, the government says. On September 5th, for example, Ukraine's computer emergency response team reported this targeted attack on a critical energy infrastructure facility. Emails came in saying the sender had spoken to 3 girls. Their pictures are in the archive, and they recommend you take a look with an attached photo file. The government team says clicking ultimately would allow the enemy to create a control channel on the computer, but they say the attack did not succeed. A government report the same month said the energy sector was one of the top Russian cyber targets in the first half of the year. The energy sector continues to be under attack, the report says, adding there was one case of disruption operation in 2023, but with no further detail. So far in 2024, there has been one public announcement of what may be an industrial hack. On January 23rd, energy company Lviv Teploenergo said, warning, disconnection of the heating service. As a result of a hacker attack, the heat supply control system was broken. Work is underway to restore heating and hot water services in the Sikiv housing estate, with about 100,000 people, according to news reports. But the Lviv City Council tempered that announcement, saying there are suspicions of external interference, but this information is being verified by law enforcement agencies. Security experts say there are likely more cyber attacks over the past 2 years that have not yet come to light.
I think it's a landmark study in what it looks like, not to have cyber war, but rather to have a hybrid war that includes sizable cyber operations and components, and hopefully it ends soon, and it means that we can actually take the time to do a proper postmortem and understand what it looks like when a cyber power goes to war.